Sat Sri Akal ji. As I told you in the last video about Hinduism, today we are going to discuss about another one of the oldest religion of the East, Jainism. Before entering into Jainism, we need to know about two traditions which existed parallelly in the Indian subcontinent at that time. One was the Brahmanical tradition or Brahmanism, and other was Shraman tradition, also known as Shramanism. Now, in the Brahmanical tradition, they believed in the authorities of Veda and Upanishads. They believed that this world is a divine order, and through performing right actions or gaining knowledge, we can attain liberation. They believed in many other things like rituals, sacrifices in a Varna system, and many things. Opposite to that, in the Shraman system, they rejected the authorities of Vedas and Upanishads. They believed that this world is filled with misery and sorrow known as dukh, and through one's own actions, by renouncing this world and rising above the material pleasures, one can attain liberation. These two traditions ran parallelly. Hinduism in today's form is a result of Brahmanical tradition. They believed in Brahm, and religions which are the religions of meditation like Buddhism, Jainism, some part of yoga which exists in Hinduism, they are the resultant forms of Shramanic tradition. Jainism is the oldest surviving Shramanic religion. Now, if we enter into Jainism, it is one of the most logical and mathematical religion which is available to us. In Hinduism, as it is believed that world is a divine order, so we can leave many things to the will of God. If we want to explain many things, we don't need to always have an answer or always have a reason. We can put it in God. But Jainism went into the deepest details possible about everything, about the accuracy of statements, about the levels of meditations, and many other things. And they have a well defined path through which one can attain moksha. But even though being so mathematical or logical, they have two very beautiful concepts which, if we can imbibe today in this world, not depending on whatever faith we believe in, we can make our lives better. If I start discussing those intricacies of Jainism, it would again create just an intellectual jargon for you which we can play with, but it will have no practical effect on our lives. We should always approach different faiths and religions with the view that what we can learn from them. Now, these concepts in Jainism are known as Anekantavada or the theory of multiple perspectives, or Syadvad, the theory of conditional predicament. Now, to explain Anekantavad, I would have to take an analogy of an elephant and six blind men. If you can see this photo, in this, there are six blind men who are trying to get a guess that what this elephant is. One man who has the control of the tail believes that this elephant is like a rope. One who has the leg believes that this elephant is the trunk of a tree. One who is feeling his stomach or the core body believes that this elephant is a wall. One who has his ear feels like this is a hand fan. One who has his teeth believes that this elephant is like a spear. And the one who has his trunk believes that this elephant is like a snake. Now, all of them are also right and also wrong within the same time. What they need is the correct perspective. This theory in Jainism of Anekantavad believes that whatever truth we perceive is only a perspective. This can be a very much foundation of theories like liberalism and secularism, where we can give respect to faiths which do not agree with us, believing that there might be some perspective which they can see but we can't. Or in our faiths, there can be perspectives which we can see and they can't. But we can both live in harmony. In this analogy of six blind men, all of them have their own truths and they can coexist simultaneously within them. Now, from this, a logical expression of this theory would be known as Syadvad, or the theory of conditional predicament, which believes that whatever statement you give, don't be too sure of its accuracy. There can be many ways in which those statements cannot act as true. For example, recently I was reading the book The Republic by Plato. In its first book, there is an argument between Socrates and another character about what justice is. Firstly, the person explains justice that it is repayment of the debt. And then Socrates asks him that suppose if my friend in his right mind give me some alms to keep, and when he comes to collect them he is not in his right mind, so should the repayment of his alms would be considered justice? And the person understanding the situation says that repayment of the debt which is right for the friend, which doesn't bring him evil, is the true justice. Now here, in very less time, attaining to this given situations, the person changed his definition. This is an example of Syadvad where you do not assert permanent definitions to everything, because as time changes, definitions changes, their interpretations changes, and the way we see things, we approach things also change. But unfortunately, in Jainism itself, it got too attached to the idea of renunciation and suffering that it became just a religion of suffering. Maybe that is the reason that this beautiful religion was not able to spread itself throughout the world. There are many more things which I can discuss about this beautiful religion, but it would be appropriate if I discuss those things while discussing the scriptures of this religion with you, because that will give you a proper understanding of what this religion stands for. Until then, I believe I have given you a surface level understanding of Jainism. I believe you would find these ideas of Jainism interesting and also try to imbibe them in your life. In the next video, I will discuss another religion, Taoism, with you. It is also a very interesting Eastern religion. Until then, I take your leave. Thank you.